You heard Jerry Brown say there's a Republican war on California today. Congressman Jeff Denham, not part of that, at least today. Denham says he has a coalition of votes, including about 50 Republicans, plus almost every Democrat in the House, that could force the House to vote on immigration proposals, despite opposition from some in the GOP. Many of those proposals would provide amnesty to so-called dreamers without getting immigration concessions in return. Is it a good idea? Congressman Denham joins us tonight. Congressman, thanks for coming on.
You got it. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
So there's so many things going on in California right now, and as a native of the state, I'm following them closely. It's our biggest state. You know, it's a leading indicator of trends, so I think it's worth watching. The state's kind of falling apart in a lot of ways. Why would the concern of foreign citizens of other countries, take precedence over the concerns of the people of California?
Shouldn't take one prioritized over the other, but it's an issue we've got to get resolved. It's a national issue. We have control. Republicans have control of both the House, the Senate, and the presidency. We're elected to lead. Our border's not secure. We have 1 million immigrants that come here every year, and another 500,000 that come across our southern border. So we've got to have a resolution. We have to, I'd like to see the president get the funding that he needs for a wall and for border security. We need to make sure that we're not having the backlogs that we have in the courts, where we have unaccompanied minors that end up throughout the country without a court date or without showing back up. We have to have resolution on the border, as well as our dreamers that have graduated in our high schools that are out there in the workforce today.
Yeah, I mean, I feel sorry for a lot of them. I'm not against them personally at all. But when I compare their interests as citizens of foreign countries against the interests of native Californians, many of whom are immigrants, by the way, but citizens, it's not even close. So why, at least in my concern, so why wouldn't you say, we're not doing anything, actually, until you build an impenetrable border wall or something that gives us complete control over who comes here and who doesn't?
I think we've got to do both, and we should do both at the same time. I think for us to pass something through a Republican-controlled House and Senate, we have to give the American public a guarantee that we're actually going to secure the border, a guarantee that we are going to solve this issue with the courts. And then ultimately, I think that we have to have certainty for our dreamers. This will give them an opportunity to come out of the shadows, pay a fine, a fee, pass a background check, create a safer community. And these are individuals that 90% of them have jobs today. Some are going to school, some are serving in the military.
But when you think of all the unemployed people in California, American citizens, and there are a ton, African-American unemployment rate's really high, why would I spend a single second worrying about the job of a foreign citizen over the job of an American? Like, why would I want to give any foreign citizen a job before every American has one?
Well, first of all, today is tax day. I am proud that our tax policy is getting put into place and actually creating jobs across the entire country. There are going to be more jobs, but I think that we also have to know who's taking those jobs. Americans first. We need to make sure that we have an E-Verify system, a system that will show employers and show the country what jobs are available. But ultimately, every industrialized nation has a guest worker program that allows immigrants to work in manufacturing or farming.
I think that's great.
Canada has one.
But at least we're in charge of that. But we're, probably 15 million people here illegally. And no Republican is saying, other than like Steve King, is saying we should send anybody back, really. Let's take 10 million and just go home.
But where do you send them to? I mean, these are kids that were brought here.
No. You're talking about the dreamers. I'm talking about the 15 million people in this country illegally. And Republicans, they're lying to their voters, as you know. They're never going to build meaningful border controls. They're never going to send anybody back. They've given in on the basic assumptions of the left, which is everyone who's already here can stay and become a citizen and vote. You don't think so?
I disagree. No, we've made great strides along the border. That's not enough. There's still areas of the border that are totally insecure, that you see a lot of people coming across. We can do a much better job. But certainly we have a president that wants to focus on that campaigned on the issue. We ought to give him the resources to get it done. And this should not.
Why does the budget, the last budget, provide more money for border security in foreign countries than it does for our country?
Oh, I think that we've got to pass an overall border security bill.
But we just voted. I mean, you guys just voted on that, and I mean that was the funding for the.
Well, not you guys. I didn't vote for it.
Well, and amen, and good for you for not voting for that atrocity. I wish it hadn't been signed. But the Republican leadership kind of signed off on it, and it literally gave more money for border security in foreign nations across the seas than it did for us.
This needs to be a priority for both parties. It's disappointing that under the previous administration, every Democrat in the House House. Every Democrat in the Senate signed on to the bill that came out of the Senate that had $42 billion for border security. And now this has become a political hot potato to not even give this president the $25 billion that I think both parties recognize the fact that he will spend it, that he will build it, and build it quickly and effectively. And that has to be part of any solution that we have.
I hope so. I mean, just because people voted for it. You know, it's a democracy. Congressman, thanks a lot for coming on. I appreciate it.
It's good to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Well, Assad is bombing Syria over America is bombing Syria over a supposed chemical attack. Do we know at this point, days later, who was behind that attack? Do we know for sure? And shouldn't we know for sure? And is there anything wrong with asking? Also, stay with Fox, of course, for continuing coverage of the passing of the former First Lady of the United States, Barbara Bush. We'll be right back.